Welcome to MCN and the 2024 R129T. Now this is a bike that replaces the R9T, but it looks exactly the same, more or less. So what's new?
Well, on the face of it, not very much. The engine looks the same because it is. The R129T still uses the same 1170cc air and oil cooled Boxer twin that can trace its roots right back to the iconic 2007 HP2 Sport. It makes 108 bhp, a healthy 85 pound-feet of torque, but it's updated to get it through the latest Euro 5 Plus emissions regs with a new exhaust and airbox. The intake is repositioned from the side of the tank where it used to be on the R9T to under the seat. It does have a new frame though. It's now a one instead of a two-piece tubular steel unit, which BMW say is lighter and less complicated, but it's more likely it's quicker and cheaper to produce as it makes no difference to the BMW's handling. S1000RR derived forks are now fully adjustable. There's the familiar shaft drive rear and beautifully powerful Brembo brake calipers up front. Styling gets a tweak. It has a new tank that takes its inspiration from the old R90S. This 16 litre fuel tank is 30mm shorter and slimmer, so you can shuffle up closer to the bars for less of a stretch. Side panels make an appearance for the first time to clean up the looks, and the exhaust headers and collector box are chrome, which look fantastic. It costs £14,420, which is a lot, but the build quality and attention to detail are exceptional. The lacquered green and exposed brushed aluminium tank finish on our test bike is exceptional, and there isn't a square inch of the BMW that looks unfinished or grubby. Keyless ignition, LED lights, 12-volt socket and a USB-C port are standard, and accessories include cornering lights, heated grips, cruise control, spoked wheels, seat hump, nose fairing and a Krapovic can. The list goes on. It also has rider modes, traction control, ABS and an optional up and down quick shifter for the first time that works superbly. It still has twin analog clocks as standard, but there's an optional rectangular TFT dash replacement, which you'll either love or hate on a retro like this. There's also a cheaper R12 model. It's more cruiser styled with a single seat, 19-inch front wheel and an A2 license restrictable 94 bhp. So do all these changes add up to make the R1290 better than the R9T it replaces?
Well, no, not really. You'd have to say the R129T is more of a way of keeping the R90 in production, both from a Euro 5 Plus perspective, so the engine's cleaner, even though it's air and oil cooled, it's still clean, so that's allowed it to continue. And perhaps to make the bike a little bit more economical to make, they've gone for those chassis changes. But none of that matters because an R129T is just a beautiful creation. You know, from the way it just looks fantastic. The attention to detail is amazing and the finishes are amazing. I especially love that chrome collector box as well. So when the bike's leant over or parts on its side stand, it just looks finished. And a lot of bikes, even really expensive bikes, don't. I love the way it makes you feel. You know, this is a bike that you don't have to go really, really fast on to enjoy. You know, it's got enough character just to give you a lot of pleasure when you're riding at normal speeds. The engine's quirky, the way you can feel every power pulse, the way it rocks from side to side, the way it pitches on the shaft drive. But, you know, that's what gives it its character. And it's not slow. You know, anything with over 100 bhp doesn't hang around. And I think we kind of forget that because we're used to a world where motorbikes can create as much as 200 brake horsepower and we get a bit blasé to that. But 100 is a lot. You know, you accelerate hard on the BMW and it just doesn't hang around. Brakes are superb. They would shame a lot of actual sports bikes. And it handles really well. Got lots of ground clearance. It's comfortable. It's spacious even for taller riders. Even though taller riders can look a bit gangly on the bike because it's quite sort of low slung. But because it's low slung, it's going to suit shorter riders too. That quirky character is one of the R129T's kind of strongest points. And its rivals are probably smoother. So if you think of the brilliant Kawasaki Z900 RS with its inline 4 engine, that thing is just amazing. It's cheaper as well. It's really well detailed. and its engine is smoother, but it's a little bit boring. You get used to the engine quite quickly on the Kawasaki. The same can be said of the Triumph Speed Twin, big parallel twin cylinder engine. It's got a little bit more character, but you know, none can really hold a candle to the BMW when it comes to how involving it is to ride. I really enjoyed my time on the R1290. There's very few bikes that kind of can deliver so much in terms of the way it looks and its character and its performance, and it's just its kind of presence. It's superb. So the big question is the R1290 better than the R90? Well, it's a resounding no. They're both as good as each other. There's no real reason to trade up, just unless you want something a little bit different and just sort of move the story on a little bit. But they're virtually the same bike and they do the same thing. But if you really fancy the idea of a BMW Retro with all this character, with all this presence and performance, then the R1290 is going to be the bike for you. I really enjoyed my time on it. Can't wait to ride one again. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, stay tuned for the next one, and like and subscribe if you can.